This video is the first in a three-part series of how to use Animation Designer in NX. First part will be the basic setup, overview of Animation Designer, and then we'll create an animation of a conceptual design.
To start, we have our skeleton model here that will be driving our engine component designs. One nice thing about Animation Designer is you don't have to have the completed designs to test your conceptual motion. So we just have a simple sketch here defining some of our engine parameters, such as our crankshaft throw, compression height, things of that nature. So we could create the animation directly in this skeleton model, but I highly recommend creating a standalone part for animations. It just gives you more flexibility later to add components and to work with it, and it also doesn't add that file size to your actual model components. So to start, we'll create a new part. Call it engine animation. Okay. And then we'll add our skeleton to it. Select OK, and we'll fix it. That's fine. And then I'm going to turn off display of constraints. And I'm actually going to do a wave link. So I'm going to open up the wave geometry linker. And I'm going to bring that sketch into this model. That way, our joints that we're going to eventually define will be associative. So I'm going to select sketch. We'll make context independent. Reference curves is fine, and associative. We'll select that sketch and select OK. And now if we want to declutter, I'm just going to replace the reference set of this skeleton with the one I have called blank. And so there's our objects will be animating. So let me just save that. And then once we get our components designed, we'll have the animation set up and we can just add those components to the kind of base animation. So to begin with, we need to turn on the Animation Designer. We'll go to the Application ribbon tab in the Design group. Under the Toolbox dropdown, we'll place a check beside Animation Designer. This does two things for us. The first thing, it'll add an Animation Navigator to the resource bar, and then it'll add a Animation Designer ribbon tab with all the Animation Designer commands. So to begin, we'll select New Solution. And this will add a solution to our navigator and several empty folders underneath. Generally speaking, we work from top down. Some of these we won't define, but the basic flow is top down here. So first we'll add a rigid group. We can click the command here, or we can right click the folder, say new rigid group. And I'm actually going to select the default coordinate system here, and that'll be our engine block. And I recommend labeling your rigid groups. It just helps later with selection, and especially as animations get more complex, it can really be beneficial. Next thing will be our crankshaft. I'll select these two journals and the line between them. We'll name it crankshaft. Apply. The next one will be our connecting rod, just that one line. Apply. And notice the ones that, after I've defined them as part of a rigid group, they're kind of grayed out so that it just tells us we can't select those for another rigid group. And so I'll select the circle here for the wrist pin. Apply that. And then we'll get these four curves here for the piston. And then we'll select OK. So there's our rigid groups defined. If we want to see kind of a graphics display of them, you can go rigid group color, and it'll apply a distinct color to each rigid group. That can be handy for kind of seeing in the graphics window what you're working with, but I'm going to turn that off for now. I'm going to click Save. And so our next thing as we work down this tree will be our joints, and so we'll define our joints. The first joint we'll do is actually a fixed joint, and that'll be on our engine block. That's an easy one to forget. If you get some weird motion, make sure you got something fixed. And I'm going to name this engine block. Same thing with the joints. It'll pay off in the long run if you spend a little time to name them up front, especially as animations get more complex. It can definitely help. Next thing will be our revolute joint. We'll do a revolute joint between our crankshaft and our engine block. Our vector will be this Y, and then our point will be the origin here. And we'll name that crankshaft. Apply that. The next revolute joint will be between our connecting rod and our crankshaft. Same vector, the Y vector. And then our point in this case will be the center of that circle. And we'll name that connecting rod to crankshaft. Apply that. Next one will be our wrist pin to our connecting rod. Same vector. Point will be the center of that circle. And we'll name it wrist pin to connecting rod. And then apply. Notice we're not setting any angle limits on this because the motion will be defining it. We don't want to limit any of the angles. Next, we'll do a bonded joint between our piston and our wrist pin. So there's our piston, there's our wrist pin, and we'll just name it piston to wrist pin. And apply that. And the one thing we don't see here is the cylinder that the piston's going up and down in, but we don't necessarily need it. We can do a slider joint, and that will be between our piston and our engine block. So we'll select it there, and our vector will be this Z axis there. And I'll name this piston to cylinder. Select it. Okay. So one thing I kind of forgot to do, I typically recommend using a methodical approach. So after you define one joint, if you use the joint jogger, you can kind of use this slider to activate that joint to make sure it's doing exactly what you want it to do. And it's easier to do it one by one versus if you wait to the end and use a joint jogger, if you don't get the motion you're anticipating, it can be confusing to try to figure out what's causing the issue. But if you do it joint by joint and use the joint jogger to check, then you can make sure that each joint is doing what you want. So in this case, I did them all up front. And now if we do this joint jogger, we can kind of see our motion there. And I'm going to just click cancel there. And just to keep this, I'm going to actually go back to this wave link and turn off display reference curve just so we don't see that curve there. Okay, so now we've got our joints defined. I'm going to save again. We've got them all named so they're easy to pick out. So now we need to add a motor to our animation to actually move the components. So we'll select position motor. And if we make this window a little bit smaller, we see the joints are displayed here. And so we're going to select this revolute joint for the crankshaft. And we'll enter let's say we'll animate it for 10 seconds. And in that 10 seconds, we'll do, I don't know, let's say 10 revolutions. So 1 revolution per second. So 3,600 degrees. And since we just have one motor, I'm not going to name it. I'm going to select OK there. Now that we've got our motor defined, we should be able to just hit play. And if we've got everything defined correctly, it should do the motion we want. And if we want to just look at it from the end view. So there's our simple animation of the concept of the engine. And in the next video, we'll come back, we'll do the detailed design. We'll have that done and we'll add the detailed design to this animation. And we'll see how the components interact with one another. If there's any interferences or things of that nature, we can also take some measurements, plot some things. So come back to watch that video.